Right, good afternoon, MacArthur families. Thank you for joining us at our MacArthur Virtual Cafe. I have with me today school counselors Christine Silva and Lori Tristan, FACE liaison Mr. Joe Honorana, and my two trusty assistant principals, Mrs. Kang and Mr. Bayou. We have a presentation by our school counselors today titled Supporting Your Child at Home. This was our #1 requested topic from parents that completed a survey at a previous meeting. We're going to go ahead and start with the presentation by our counselors, and then I have some information I'd like to share at the end of this meeting. So with no further ado, I'll let them get started. And 1 second while I switch over to their presentation.
Buenas tardes, familias de la Escuela MacArthur. Muchas gracias por acompañarnos el día de hoy. Con nosotros está ahorita el director, el señor González, las subdirectores, Mr. Bayuk y la señora Kang. También tenemos a las consejeras, Miss Tristan y Miss Silva, quien ellos van a compartir con nosotros el día de hoy cómo pueden apoyar a sus hijos en casa, ya que fue una cosa que ustedes querían saber un poco más sobre este tema en el cuestionario que mandamos. Entonces vamos a empezar. Bueno, y también yo soy el señor Arana y soy enlace de familia y comunidad aquí en la escuela. Muchas gracias por acompañarnos y ya vamos a empezar.
All right. So supporting your child at home. I'm Lori Tristan, one of these school counselors, and I work with your children if their last names are M through Z. And then we also have Miss Silva.
Hi, I work with students with the last name A through L. Thank you for joining us today.
Yes. All right. Can you advance the slide, please? Oh, wait. Did Mr. Arana need to translate?
Buenas tardes. Entonces, la presentación de hoy va a ser dada por las consejeras de la escuela, la señora Tristan y la señora Miss Silva. También ellos van a hablar cómo pueden apoyar a su hijo o hija en casa.
All right, so we just wanted to show just a little kind of journey of what's happened from 2019 through 2020 to kind of talk about distance learning and how we all are in this together. Your students started off 2019 in their regular, normal way, happy, excited, and then this year, 2020, kind of different. And then parents also had to change and learn a whole different language that teachers were talking about, consisting of like Zoom and Canvas and Google Classroom. And we know that that was super confusing. And then there was the whole school staff, from teachers to our office staff to counselors and administrators and everybody that works at school that had experience with online teaching since March of last year to now. And it was very difficult. So we just wanted to show a little picture that we are definitely all in this together, and it's been challenging for each of us, but we're making the best of this situation as best we can to help support your students.
Ahorita vamos a hablar un poco sobre el aprendizaje a distancia y cómo la diferencia entre el 2019 y el 2020, lo bueno, lo malo y lo feo. Miramos cómo al principio del 2019, cuando empezaron los estudiantes las clases, todos estaban contentos de venir a la escuela, ver nuevos amigos y todo eso, pero ya empezamos que en 2020 lo que pasó con la pandemia y COVID-19, entonces miramos cómo los estudiantes también ya es algo nuevo para ellos y ya no están tan contentos porque están en casa, no están viendo a sus amigos y están nada más encerrados en casa. Entonces también miramos cómo para los padres fue una diferencia, porque antes venían, dejaban a sus hijos en la escuela y ahorita ya están sus hijos en casa todo el día, tienen que aprender nueva terminología como Zoom, que Canvas, que Google Meets y muchas cosas que ahora tienen que entregar en línea y tienen que saber un poco más de tecnología, y también cómo en la escuela afectó de que los maestros tenían que aprender nuevas técnicas para enseñar en línea, y miramos cómo todos tuvieron que aprender cosas nuevas desde la oficina hasta, y todos pues extrañan también a los niños, y miramos cómo esas 3 fotos que estamos aquí, nada más les queremos avisar que todos estamos juntos en todo esto.
So we just wanted you to remember that before you can take care of others like your children, you definitely have to take care of yourselves first. You are enough and you are doing enough to help your family and help your children during this time. So we just wanted to let you guys know that we do appreciate your support, and we appreciate everything that you're doing to help your children be on their Zoom calls and just do their best job here at MacArthur.
También queremos recordarles y darles las gracias por todo lo que ustedes han hecho en casa, pero sabemos que antes de que usted pueda ayudar a los demás, debe de cuidarse a sí mismo primero. Entonces sabemos que usted es suficiente y que le damos gracias por todo lo que ha hecho en casa, porque sin los padres y la familia no podríamos hacer lo que estamos haciendo ahorita. Entonces, de antemano, muchas gracias por todo el apoyo que nos ha brindado hasta ahorita y esperemos que todo esto continúe.
So we just wanted to give you some ideas of ways that you can help support your children at home. And many of these you're probably already doing, but maybe something that we say today will spark a new thought or just kind of refresh an old habit that we haven't looked at in a while. Or we just hope that this will hopefully just encourage what you are doing and then maybe give you some new ideas, just how to support your kids in different ways. So first of all, their physical health and yours as well. It's so important that we eat healthy and get outside and get sunshine and do that in safe ways, of course, during the pandemic. But our bodies were made to move. And so it's really important that we pay attention to the physical needs that we have to get exercise, to get sunlight, to get fresh air. And then, of course, our mental health. We've been visiting classrooms, Miss Tristan and I, and we recently were talking about how their mental health affects their academic motivation. And so taking care of our mental health is also a priority. And that could look like taking breaks when we're stressed out. That could look like doing things that make us smile, maybe watching a video that makes us laugh, comedy, or reading a book or journaling, or just doing anything that makes us smile, spending time with friends or with family members that we care about, doing things that we enjoy. And then also just saying no to things that maybe we're feeling overwhelmed and doing too much. And sometimes we need to step back and just look at how we're spending our time and say no to things that might be consuming too much time. That could be devices, that could be extra responsibilities that are not necessary right now, or that could be even just some of the pressure that we put on ourselves to be perfect. Next is our emotional health. All of these things, of course, are connected. And our emotional health, talking about our feelings with one another as family members and friends, um, helps us to feel better on a daily basis, to have someone to talk to about stresses or joys or excitement, to share our problems with, just to feel close to other people. And then also just listening to others too as they're going through things. Spending quality time together. That could even look like journaling, just kind of getting our emotions out on paper. So taking care of our emotional health. And then finally, some practical ways that you can help your kids. Many of you are already checking Aries. I'm not sure if everyone has an account, but if you need help with that, we're happy to do that. Just give us a call at the front office or stop by and we're happy to help you connect on Aries. There's also a way that you can look at your students' grades on Canvas through a parent. There's a parent way that you can do that. So if any of your kids have a class on Canvas, that's another thing that you can do to just kind of check on their progress and see how they're doing. We encourage you to do that weekly. Using positive reinforcement. A lot of kids are struggling right now with motivation and grades. So looking for those positive ways to help motivate them instead of maybe focusing on the D or F grades, perhaps focus on if a grade gets raised from a C to a B or a D to a C, rewarding that with maybe movie time or game time or whatever it is that your child enjoys. Just using that power of the positive reinforcement. Feel free to email teachers, and if you have questions about anything that's going on in classes or you're not sure how their grading structure works, communicate and ask your questions. We're happy to get back to you. If it's not successful emailing the teacher, feel free to call or email one of the counselors. We're happy to assist and support as well. And of course, admin as well, but start with teachers first and then come to the counselors next before you go to the administrators because they have so much on their plate. And then come and ask us questions too. Miss Tristan and I are working from our offices most days. And if not, we're at home and we're always checking emails. So feel free to call us at the office, email us, and we're happy to get back to you with any resources or questions that you might have. So take a look at these, which things are you doing well, which things maybe need a little fine tuning, and we'll move forward from there.
Entonces, ahorita vamos a hablar de qué apoyo puede tomar, el apoyo, cómo se puede ver en diferentes formas. Está el apoyo físico, que es comer sano, hacer ejercicio, dormir bien, respirar aire fresco y luz natural. Hacer todo esto ahorita con medidas de precaución, ya que estamos que estamos en casa. También está lo mental, la salud mental. Toma descansos, haz algo que te haga sonreír. Di no cuando sea necesario. Entonces siempre queremos que ellos estén bien mentalmente, también emocionalmente, hablar y expresar sentimientos, pasar tiempo de calidad con sus seres queridos, llevar un diario. Entonces, sobre lo emocional siempre es bueno que ellos ya sea anoten o dibujen sus sentimientos para que ellos puedan sacar eso también. Y también está el modo práctico, que es revisar el progreso en ERI semanalmente, usar refuerzo positivo, ya sea si va a mejorar el grado de una F a una D o de una D a una C, a tener una hora de película o saber algo que le gusta a su hijo o hija. También enviar correos electrónicos a los maestros o comunicarse con ellos vía Parent Square. También puede consultar con su consejero escolar. Ellas están trabajando desde la oficina regularmente y cuando no están en la oficina están en casa, pero pueden contestar correos electrónicos o recibir también llamadas telefónicas. Entonces, siempre nada más queremos hacerles saber que aquí estamos para apoyarlos en lo que necesiten. Siempre empiece con el maestro. De ahí, si no le dan la respuesta que usted desea, puede checar con la consejera o con cualquier administrador aquí en la escuela para poderles ayudar. Queremos que trate de mantener el equilibrio entre todas estas áreas, porque todas estas áreas son importantes maneras de cómo usted puede apoyarlos en casa y ver realmente en qué está bueno o buena, en cuál área es más bueno o buena y qué área necesita más atención para poder trabajar con su hijo o hija.
So I know that Ms. Silva talked a little bit about each of those areas, the physical, mental health, emotional, and practical support, but we wanted to expand upon that just a little bit and leave you with some ideas. This presentation will be posted on Parent Square after so that you can take a peek at it. And there are some resources at the end with links to different activities and just places on the internet that you can go to for some support. But like she said, with physical support, it is super important for your children to get some movement breaks during the day. Just as we've been visiting classes and talking to them about grades and how their future does tie to how they're doing in middle school, we are encouraging them to take some movement breaks throughout the day because we know that they're spending a lot of time on a device in the morning doing Zoom schools. So it is important for them to get out, get moving, make sure that they're actually doing their PE workouts. Those are super important. When they were in person, they would come and run the mile each week and do other types of activities each day. So we are just finding that a lot of your kids, and our kids included too, are a little less active during this distance learning time. And we know that it's hard, but just finding sometimes as a family, maybe taking a walk around the neighborhood or doing something in a backyard or in front of the house, just to get some physical activity is super important. Disconnecting from technology just because they're on Zoom for a large part of the day. Have them take those tech breaks, have them try to connect physically with people, like face-to-face talking, that type of thing, instead of through cell phones and other devices for a little bit at a time each day. Setting that regular bedtime. We are finding that a lot of students are going to sleep at very odd hours. Some are going to sleep past midnight and then they're getting up in the morning to start school the next day at 7:50 is when it starts. And sometimes they're late to their Tiger Connection class. And so we do want them to set that regular bedtime, get enough hours of sleep. They are still growing, their brains are still growing, and they do need to recharge and reset each night. And then making sure eating healthy. We are finding that there's a lot more commonalities in them kind of snacking throughout the day. So just make sure that they are also eating healthy snacks, that you are possibly also setting a family meal time for at least one meal each day. Maybe you're having them kind of give you some ideas on some healthy meals to make. There's a lot of resources on the internet for families cooking together and for getting the kids involved in terms of getting some healthy snacks going. We are still serving lunch, and they do get a super snack, I believe, every day. If you did want to pick that up at any one of our school sites, that's available too daily. But just making sure that physical activity is happening, they're taking those movement breaks, they're eating healthy and getting enough sleep, super important.
El apoyo físico, vamos a hablar sobre el apoyo físico, fomente la actividad familiar, camina alrededor de la cuadra, actividad física en casa. Entonces queremos que su hijo y toda su familia se mantenga físicamente activos. Es muy importante para la salud, no nada más la salud física, pero sino también la salud emocional. También asegúrate de que realmente hagan ejercicios de educación física. En la clase de educación física, muchos estudiantes van a la clase, pero a veces no tienen la cámara prendida o no saben si realmente están haciendo las actividades que tienen que hacer, que son físicas, porque si las están haciendo ahí, entonces regularmente ya hicieron la actividad física del día. También pasar algo de tiempo al aire libre, todo eso con precaución, más que nada. También desconectarse de la tecnología, no siempre estar en el teléfono, en el iPad o en la computadora, sino que tener conversaciones con personas, con los hermanos, con la familia, frente a frente para que ellos también tengan esa comunicación verbal. También establecer el horario regular para acostarse. Nos hemos dado cuenta que muchos estudiantes y muchos de sus hijos están durmiendo a veces a las medianoche o más noche y se están levantando temprano o a veces llegan tarde a las clases. Entonces queremos que realmente establezcan un lugar, un horario para que ellos se duerman todos los días a ese horario. Comer sano y para evite comer bocadillos todo el día y si come bocadillos que sean bocadillos saludables. Establezca la hora de comer con su familia para que al menos una comida al día, por lo menos. Entonces queremos que tengan esa cena familiar con su familia y puedan platicar, tengan ese tiempo también para platicar y estar fuera de, no tener tecnología presente. Y también que haga que su hijo le ayude a preparar esas comidas como usted está cocinando, que a lo mejor el estudiante le guíe con el menú o a lo mejor la receta. Y muchas comidas saludables se pueden encontrar en línea en el internet, entonces su hijo también le puede ayudar en todo esto.
So also with mental health support, we are finding that there's a lot more stress and anxiety that our students are facing just because of the distance learning time and not seeing friends, not being able to have that social connection each day. We do want them to know, and we did teach them this back in September. We talked about some coping skills resources, but we do want them to know that stress is a natural part of life. So some stress is okay, but the way that we handle that stress is key. So just helping them find those healthy ways to manage stress as a family, taking those regular breaks, making sure that you guys are laughing together, that you're playing together, playing some family games. This might be a great time also to break out some of those old family pictures or old family movies that you might have and just have kind of a fun family night. Some kids are telling me that the benefit of distance learning is that their family has grown closer together, and they do like a special Saturday event with some other distant family members where they have like a Zoom meeting with family members, or they've broken out those old family movies and they're having some fun family time that way. So because of the mental health issues, it is important to band together as a family. Check in regularly with your students to just check on them for loneliness or signs of loneliness. A lot of them do feel set apart because they're not with their friends and they're not as connected as they would be in person. So just make sure that you're keeping an eye out on that for your children. And if you do have concerns, please reach out to us and we're happy to talk to you about anything that you might be concerned about. Ms. Silva talked about earlier setting those limits. That is super important for you to say no to certain things, just to keep your own mental health stable as well, but encourage your students to, like, it is okay to say no to activities or other things too that might be on their plate. And then definitely reach out to us, like I said, to talk to us about any concerns that you might have.
Apoyo a la salud mental. Sabemos que el estrés es parte natural de la vida. La forma en que lo manejamos es clave. Entonces queremos que hable sobre formas consejo sobre formas de manejar el estrés. También queremos que tome descansos regulares en familia. Puede ser para que se rían juntos, jueguen juegos en familia, mirar fotos familiares de años atrás o mirar películas que a lo mejor cuando sus hijos eran pequeños, para recordar todo, tener todos esos recuerdos. También queremos que se registre regularmente para evitar la soledad. Establecer límites, es muy importante que usted sepa que puede decir que no para cualquier cosa, y cualquier pregunta o sobre la salud mental o cualquier otra cosa se puede comunicar con su consejero escolar con cualquier inquietudes, o también para obtener recursos adicionales.
And then as far as emotional support, definitely make time to talk with your child. It doesn't have to be every day, but it is important to check up on them regularly. You can ask them to tell you about their day if you don't already. Ask them to tell you what they learned on Zoom class, or what they accomplished, or what they're hoping to accomplish during the week. Just simple things like that to get the conversation going. Make sure that you are giving them lots of hugs and lots of love and support right now. They do need to hear that. And it's also helpful for you. A hug will put a smile on your face as well. Finding out what motivates your child. A couple of my students in Tiger Connection are telling me what they're working for and why they're being motivated to fix their grades. One of my kids is working toward a PS4, so that's what motivates him, and he's turned some of his low grades into higher grades. So find out what that motivation piece is for your child, and kind of help them along to do their best job right now. Support them through challenges, and just remind them that there will be some challenges and bumps in the road, and distance learning is just a little point in time in their long life, and so they do need to understand and put things in perspective, that it's not going to go on forever. And then definitely connecting with others. If they can Zoom with friends, or they can FaceTime or talk with them, that's okay to do. And also, like, thinking about family FaceTime or having family Zoom meetings. We've had families like cook together, make crafts, have a movie night together. There's different things that are popping up because of this distance learning time, where you can do across Zoom or across FaceTime or other platforms. Come join us on our family night next week. We're going to make a little holiday craft on Thursday evening. If you haven't RSVP'd, check Parent Square and see if you're available. It'll be at 6 o'clock that night. And then we will provide you with some conversation starters to use, maybe at meal times, or just some fun family hangout time. But we just encourage you to continue to provide that emotional support for your children.
También queremos que continúe a apoyar ese apoyo emocional, que tome tiempo con su hijo para hablar, como preguntarle a su hijo cómo le fue en su clase de Zoom, cómo le fue durante su hora de lonche, de almuerzo y todo eso. Siempre es importante darles abrazos, y siempre recuerde de que los ama. Descubra qué motiva a su hijo, entonces para que él lo motive, usted pregúntele qué es lo que le gusta, o para qué es que él está mejorando los grados. A lo mejor quiere recibir algo, algún regalo, cualquier cosa. También apóyelos con desafíos, conéctese con otros, ya sea seres queridos o amigos, así que si tiene tiempo de conectarse vía Zoom con amigos o con familiares, hacerlo vía FaceTime, reuniones familiares con Zoom, cocinar juntos, hacer manualidades o noches de cine. Entonces el próximo jueves nosotros vamos a tener una noche familiar aquí en la festiva, aquí en bueno, no en la escuela, pero por parte de la escuela va a ser virtual. Si usted nos puede acompañar, va a ser a las 6 de la tarde, el jueves 17 de diciembre, y puede reservar por medio de Parent Square. Y también iniciadores de conversaciones a la hora de comida, para que usted tenga diferentes preguntas que pueden hablar sobre cuando están cenando.
All right, and then lastly, just to expand on the practical support, making sure that you are helping them set that routine. So like I said earlier, it is important that they attend Tiger Connection, so getting them up a little tiny bit before, brushing their teeth, maybe combing their hair before they join Tiger Connection, setting that routine for them. Quiet workspace as much as possible. We know it's hard at home with multiple kids, and that you might be working from home too. And so it is hard to find that quiet space, but as best that you can. During school hours, as close as possible, if we can minimize distractions. And I know it is hard, but just as much as you can to give them some alone time to do school. we know that if they're in a living room and you're cooking in the kitchen, we might see you in the background, and that's okay. Just trying not to ask them too many questions during that time, or maybe giving them some earbuds so that they can focus solely on school time. That would be really great. The Wi-Fi and connection, we are aware that there's many kids that drop calls and drop meetings because of the Wi-Fi. Just encourage them to get back on as soon as they can. They can also call our main office just to let them know, email their teachers. We are doing the best that we can with the Wi-Fi and connection issues too. So we're trying our best to be flexible with that. We talked about checking areas regularly, and then definitely communicating with school. So if anything that we've learned through distance learning in your kids too, it is super important to reach out when they do need that help, and learn how to advocate for themselves and communicate as best as they can.
Sobre el apoyo práctico, establezca un espacio de trabajo rutinario y tranquilo. Entonces ya se puede hacer en la cocina, en su cuarto, en la sala, donde tenga un espacio que sea callado, donde su hijo o hija se pueda concentrar. Durante el horario escolar, lo más cerca posible de ninguna distracción. Sabemos que si a lo mejor usted está cocinando y está en la cocina, se va a mirar usted ahí, pero trate de no hablarle a su hijo o hija lo menos que pueda. Haz todo lo posible para darles tiempo solo durante los horarios escolares. Si se distrae con facilidad, es posible que deba ayudarlos a mantener el rumbo. Entonces, también sabemos que a veces tienen problemas de internet. Nada más si tienen problemas de internet, se puede comunicar con la escuela para poderlos apoyar. También queremos que revise la cuenta de Aries regularmente y que se comunique con la escuela, ya sea por correo electrónico a los maestros o envíe mensajes a través de la aplicación de Parent Square o llamar a la escuela con cualquier duda o pregunta, cualquier cosa que usted necesite, se puede comunicar con nosotros.
So we do have a couple resources to share with you at the end. Ms. Tristan will share them with you, but we just wanted to close with a final thought. I found this quote online yesterday and I shared it with the kids on my Google Classroom, and some of them had some really cute responses to it. So it was good. So anyway, just think about the hard times like bad weather, that they too will pass. We understand that this is a difficult time for everyone, parents, students, and staff members. But we are here to support one another. So reach out if you have questions or concerns. We'd love to support you as best we can. That's what we're here for. Thank you.
Un pensamiento final, la consejera Ms. Silva encontró este pensamiento y lo compartió con sus estudiantes en el Google Classroom. Dice, piensa en tiempos difíciles como el mal tiempo, ellos también pasarán. Entonces, por lo que estamos pasando ahorita, sabemos que es temporal y que todo esto va a mejorar, pero estamos aquí para apoyarlos en lo que necesiten y sabemos que vamos a trabajar juntos siempre para el bienestar de todos nuestros estudiantes.
And so lastly, just a few resources to give you guys. We have some family conversation starters, English and Spanish. And then on the next slide.
Conversaciones para donde usted puede platicar con su hijo diferentes preguntas que lo puede ver cuando lo pongamos en Parent Square.
And then just some other simple resources, little sit and stretches that your kids can do even at their desks, some self-care for sleep tips, other little ways to stretch at your desk or at home exercises. And then there's a couple different things. These are all clickable links. There's a student virtual Zen with just a ton of ideas on different ways for them to take a break. This resource, Families in Schools, has in both English and Spanish a large selection of learning resources for families. And then Child Mind Institute has a large selection of resources, both English and Spanish, about mental health learning and then academic struggles. So we always just want to leave our families with a few resources as well that you guys can look up when you need to and have them available. And of course, always reach out to us as well.
Aquí hay diferentes recursos que usted puede revisar en su tiempo libre y todo eso les puede hacer clic y se van directamente a la página. Entonces, usted puede ver eso cuando lo mandemos por Parent Square para que usted pueda revisar cada recurso y practicarlo con su hijo o hija.
And I just wanted to say to you, just thank you again for all of your support, and just know that we are here to help you and help your child through this time.
Muchas gracias por todo su apoyo y nada más queremos hacerles saber que aquí estamos para apoyarlos y para cualquier necesidad que usted tenga.
Thank you, Ms. Silva and Mrs. Tristan, for your presentation. I'm sure our families will find this information very helpful and useful. And as they mentioned, we will post this through Parent Square at the end of this presentation, so you could click on all the links and access the resources. Any final thoughts or last comments before we head back to the main meeting? Not that you guys were the side meeting, but the main meeting. All right. So today we have a few updates. I wish I had a lot of updates, but there's just not a whole lot of news other than, maybe a lot of parents have questions about second semester and what second semester will look like. We also have a superintendent's message that you can click on. Again, this will be shared at the end of the presentation, and you could click on both of those links in blue and access the superintendent's weekly newsletter. And then the last part of this presentation, we will have Q&A, question and answer.
Ahorita vamos a hablar sobre algunas actualizaciones que tenemos. Tenemos el mensaje del superintendente que les llega a ustedes por Parent Square. También tenemos actualizaciones sobre el segundo semestre. También queremos avisarles que no va a haber servicio de comida del 18 al 1 de enero, pero sí va a haber, va a empezar otra vez el 4 de enero y también vamos a tener preguntas y respuestas al final.
All right. Just a few updates because I know parents are curious to know, what the future has in store for us. Second semester will begin under distance learning. We don't have any exact date for a switch to hybrid. So January 4th, when we return, it will be the same way that we started the school year, and that is 100% online. And we don't have any tentative date for a hybrid return. So, I think we can expect to at least go most of, if not all of January under distance learning. And at some point, the district will revisit the possibility of going hybrid. But it's definitely not going to happen anytime, that first month of second semester. We anticipate that there will be a turnaround, kind of a 2 to 3 week or maybe more notice of when we go from distance learning to hybrid. It's not going to happen overnight. So we don't have to worry about, finishing a Friday and then getting a message saying Monday's hybrid. It would definitely be a 2, 3, maybe 4 week notice or lead time before we go and make that switch.
Queremos también hacerles saber que el segundo semestre va a ser, como empezamos el año, va a ser 100% virtual. Entonces van a seguir conectándose vía Zoom o cualquier manera de que se conecten ahorita. Entonces no tenemos ninguna fecha de cuándo va a empezar el programa híbrido, pero en cuanto ellos nos hagan saber, le comentaremos a ustedes, pero no nos van a decir rápidamente, sino nos van a dar como unas semanas para que nosotros podamos planear todo eso. Pero para el 4 de enero, cuando regresemos a clases, va a ser 100% virtual desde casa.
Also wanted to update families that the last day for meal service is December 18th. And so you can come as long as school's in session, we will serve meals. But during that 2 weeks of winter break or winter recess, there will be no meal service at any of the Santa Ana Unified schools. So the gates will be closed, and unfortunately, you'll have to arrange for alternative methods of meals for that time period. We will resume school on January 4th and resume meal service as well on January 4th, and that is Monday, right after New Year's. So again, no meal service between December 19th, and I apologize, that's a typo. December 19th through January 1st, there will be no meal service.
Entonces no habrá servicio de comida empezando el 21 de diciembre, que es el lunes. El 18 de diciembre sí va a haber comida porque es el último día de clases, pero del 21 de diciembre al 1 de enero no habrá servicio de comida. Así que si usted está viniendo ahorita a recoger la comida a las escuelas, el 18 va a ser el último día de que lo pueda hacer, pero el servicio de comida empezará de nuevo cuando empecemos las clases el 4 de enero.
And then one last kind of piece on second semester. We know that first semester was a challenge for us all, our teachers, us as administrators and school counselors, and definitely our students probably felt the brunt of the hard work. And so we have been in discussion with our teachers to reflect on our practices and discuss what went well for semester, what can be improved second semester. And so we hope to see some changes that will hopefully balance out the workload that students were asked to do, maybe some policies that teachers will adopt to help support their students. Not that they weren't, but just now we know more. We have more information and we know where we need to strengthen some of our programs and support. So I don't want anybody to think that we're just going to go and charge forward into the second semester the exact same way we did first semester. We have reflected and had discussions, and we will continue to have those discussions. And your students' feedback, and your feedback is an important piece of us improving on our practices. So please continue to share your thoughts and ideas and concerns with us so we can continue to support your kids the best way possible.
También queremos hacerles saber que el segundo semestre no va a ser lo mismo, de que vamos a empezar igual como lo hicimos el primer semestre. Hemos tomado preocupaciones y comentarios de maestros, de padres, de estudiantes, de qué les fue bien, qué a lo mejor les fue mal o qué ocupa mejoría. Entonces, para el segundo semestre queremos hacer mejorías en lo que nos fue mal o en qué más podemos mejorar, ya que siempre hay manera de mejorar todo lo que es virtualmente y vamos a hacerles saber que vamos a seguir platicando con los maestros, estudiantes y padres para asegurarnos de que todo eso de virtual siga mejorando mientras nosotros vamos caminando en este camino.
Right. And then we will go ahead and reserve the Q&A portion for the last 5 or 10 minutes of the meeting. So we're going to skip that part for now and move on to a few other announcements from Mr. Bayuk and Mrs. Kang.
Al final vamos a tener preguntas y respuestas. Ahorita vamos a hablar sobre la semana que viene de cómo va a ser el schedule, el horario.
All right. Good evening, parents. Thank you for joining us. We just want to highlight the schedule next week. It is the end of fall semester or first semester on Friday, December 18th. And since it is the end of the semester, we have a couple of special modified days toward the end of the week, and you can see they're circled right there. On Thursday and Friday, December 17th and 18th, we will be having modified days. That means school will end at 1:20 p.m. And as you can see on the schedule there on the screen, we'll go our normal classes 0 period, 1, 2, 3, but it'll be office hours, and then lunch will end the day. And then on Friday, 0 period, 4, 5, 6, and office hours, and then lunch ending the day at 1:20 p.m.
Para la semana que viene va a ser el último día del semestre, va a ser el diciembre 18. Entonces, siempre cuando ocurre esto, hay 2 días modificados, que va a ser el jueves 17 y el viernes 18 de diciembre. Entonces, el jueves 17 van a ser periodos 0, 1 y 2, pero luego el cambio va a ser que sigue horas de oficina de 12:15 a 12:40 y luego termina el día con almuerzo. Y el viernes va a ser 0, 4, 5 y 6 y luego horas de oficina de 12:15 a 12:40 y terminan con el almuerzo. Entonces, estos son los cambios que van a hacer para la próxima semana, pero eso también lo vamos a mandar por Parent Square para que usted lo pueda ver.
Okay, I think this is me. We have upcoming events, and we'd love for you guys to first join us for the Holiday Family Night, which is on December 17th, and that will be at 6 p.m. But please make sure to RSVP on Parent Square so we can just get a good estimate of who's joining us and also for particular items that we might have ready for you. So that's again on December 17th, and just to get a little festive together. After that, fall semester, it ends on December 18th, and that will be next Friday. Our winter break is immediately after that, and so it's officially between December 21st and January 1st. Then school resumes again on January 4th, and again, it'll be distant learning at that time. Just as a heads up, our learning labs are tentatively scheduled to resume on January 11th, and so we'll keep you posted on that as well.
Ok, ahorita voy a hablar sobre próximos eventos. Tenemos El próximos eventos que tenemos va a ser la noche familiar festiva el 17 de diciembre. Es a las 6 de la tarde, el día jueves, y a favor de reservar en Parent Square, ya que necesitan un kit especial para poder hacer la manualidad. También queremos hacerles saber que el 18 de diciembre se finaliza el semestre de otoño y también del 21 de diciembre al 1 de enero son las vacaciones de invierno. Y regresamos a clase el 4 de enero y vamos a regresar y va a ser 100% virtual, entonces va a ser desde casa, virtual, educación a distancia y los laboratorios de aprendizaje, si su hijo o hija venía aquí a la escuela antes de que a la semana pasada, entonces eso provisionalmente se abrirían el 11 de enero.
For those parents who are joining us for the first time, once this presentation is shared, or am I still in somebody's slide here? I'm sorry. No, it is me. All right. For those parents who are joining us for the first time, there is a survey that I would like you to take, and it helps guide us in our parent workshops. And so if you joined us before, you've probably already taken the survey, so there's no need to take it a second time. But if you're here for the first time when we share this, go ahead. It's a very quick survey, just asking you which topics you're most interested in learning about, and then that helps us decide which workshops to present to you at our next meeting. So click on that link, take the survey once this is shared with you.
Si no han tomado esta encuesta, es para nada más que nos guíen ustedes en qué es lo que quieren ver en los próximos MacArthur Cafés para que le podamos traer temas que sean de interés para ustedes. Entonces, si ya lo llenaron, ya no lo tienen que hacer, pero si no han llenado esta encuesta, favor de hacerlas y cuando lo mandemos por Parent Square, nada más le va a hacer clic en el enlace y lo va a llevar a la encuesta y es muy corta.
This is just a reminder to stay in contact with us for general questions about MacArthur. You have the MacArthur main line, that is our main office line. For students who have questions or need to speak with the counselor, you could call or text the MacArthur helpline or the Tiger helpline at 323-4-TIGERS. And again, you could either send text to that or call it directly. And for resources to help parents and families or to speak with our face liaison, Mr. Arana, you could call 714-497-0553, and you could text that number as well.
Queremos que siempre se mantengan conectados con nosotros, entonces si tiene cualquier pregunta general sobre la escuela, puede llamar a la escuela a la oficina de 714-568-7700. Si su estudiante tiene alguna pregunta o quiere hablar con el consejero o un administrador, puede llamar al 323-4-TIGERS. Ahí puede llamar o mandar textos y también para obtener recursos para ayudar a los padres y familias, se pueden comunicar conmigo al 714-497-0553 y también acepto llamadas o texto.
That concludes our presentation. If you'd like to stay and ask questions and receive answers, you're more than welcome to stay. But for those who are finished and are going to log off, we just want to wish all of our families at MacArthur very happy holidays from the MacArthur staff and administration. We wish everybody a very safe and healthy holiday, and we hope to see you soon, if not physically, at least virtually, when we return for the new year. Second semester begins January 4th, and so we look forward to kind of a fresh start, at least grade book. I know your students will appreciate a fresh start with their grade book. You know, that's all we have, but if you want to stick around and ask questions, go ahead and type your questions into the chat and we will read them out loud and then answer them here.
Nada más queremos desearles unas felices fiestas a todas las familias de MacArthur, de parte de la escuela, los maestros, la administración y todos los empleados aquí de la escuela, que pasen unas felices fiestas seguras y con sus familias. Hemos terminado esta presentación. Si tiene alguna pregunta, lo puede poner en el chat o puede mandar un mensaje de texto al número que aparece en pantalla.
All right, so I see our first question. It's, do we have to pick up the kits for the...
Yes. So go ahead and RSVP if you have not already. through Parent Square. And then Mr. Arana was going to send a message out to those that RSVP'd because we do have a limited supply of kits. And pickup will be next week. We will do our best to do a contactless pickup where you can come and pick up the kit. But first step will be to RSVP in Parent Square that you would like to attend.
Okay. Next question is, when you say that you are starting different this second semester, what do you mean? That could mean several things. One, I think you might be referring to my comment about speaking with our teachers and reflecting on our practices. And by that, I mean, they're going to make adjustments to and not all of them. I have to be honest and transparent. Not all of them, but most of them are, they saw that maybe they assigned too much work, or some teachers may have assigned too little work and their kids weren't challenged. And so they're going to make adjustments and really try to meet the needs of each of our students. We will start the same way in the sense that we're doing distance learning. We are not doing hybrid like some districts are. And most of those districts who did try hybrid are actually going back to distance learning, unfortunately. So, we're going to continue in the same fashion where your kids will log on to Zoom every day. But, we are reflecting on our practices and making sure that we're making adjustments to better support our kids. And so we saw some areas of strength that we practiced, but then we also saw some areas of opportunity to improve on. And so we want to make sure we're making those improvements. If that's not what your question was, I apologize. Go ahead and ask again, or let me know that that wasn't what you were asking, and I'll try my best to answer it. Next question is, are teachers still accepting makeup work? And I have to say that that's probably yes, for the most part, but it's going to be a different deadline because we are getting into the end of the semester, and teachers do need some time to grade makeup work because grades are due December 18th, and that is the Friday of next week. So they can't continue to accept late work all the way up until the 18th because they have to be done grading by 3 o'clock that day. So most teachers probably have a cutoff date of this Friday, which is the 11th. Some may be nice enough to extend it a day or two into next week. But, not only do they have to grade the current work, but if they're accepting late work, they have to also give themselves enough time to go back and grade all the late work. And for some students, that may be a lot of late work. And so they need the time to do that. Next question. Actually, I don't see. Oh, I have 2 students who have had issues connecting with teachers after school. Seems teachers are not letting them join right away. Could you let your teachers know? Thanks. Yeah, so thank you for letting us know. That is definitely feedback that we need. Each teacher has different methods of hosting office hours. Some teachers just hang out in Zoom for an hour and a half. And that's probably the easiest way to access a teacher. Other teachers are available through email, and then we'll jump on Zoom if a kid reaches out for help through email. That's because either they're grading off camera and they don't want to just hang out on camera the whole hour and 15 minutes. But all of our teachers should be available during office hours, either through Zoom, email, if they're using some other app to contact. But they should be able to respond to students between 1:15 and 2:25, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and then from, I want to say 12:40 to 1:20, or is that wrong? Actually, from 12:55 to 1:20 on Wednesdays. And if Mrs. Dorantes, if you want to email me and let me know which teacher specifically they're having a hard time connecting with, I can reach out to the teacher and let them know.
Mr. Arana, looks like we have a question regarding internet, maybe a hotspot that's not working. And you can let the parent know that they can exchange the hotspot if they're having an issue, or we can test it out to make sure it's working.
La pregunta sobre el hotspot o el internet que no está funcionando, si usted quiere, se le puede cambiar o lo puede traer a la escuela para ver cuál es el problema, pero nada más tiene que asegurarse de que el hotspot es como los celulares, tiene que estar en una área donde tengan buena señal. Si no hay buena señal de celular, entonces el hotspot no va a funcionar.
Next question is, how late would a student have to be to get marked tardy? You know, I guess technically they're marked tardy if, or they can be marked tardy if they're late after that, the start time of the period. Our teachers are granting kids, you know, some grace and kind of a grace period, because we understand there's technical issues involved. They've been sitting for 70 minutes and they may need to go run to the restroom or grab a quick snack in between classes. But we did extend the passing period by 5 minutes earlier in the year. So now they have 10 minutes between each class, except between 0 period and first, or 0 period and fourth. But they do have 10 minutes. You know, if they're tardy for technical reasons, all you have to do is you'll get a note at the end of the day from attendance, and you could just respond that you're having technical issues if that's the case, and the tardy will be excused. And for the most part, I don't even know that too many of our teachers are using the tardy option, because most of our kids are showing up to class in a timely fashion, and they're pretty understanding that, you know, if a kid's tardy, it's not because they just decided to show up late. You know, if it becomes a habit, I think that's when teachers are starting to mark students tardy, because they want to keep track of how many tardies a kid is you know, how many times a kid is tardy in a given, you know, grading period or semester. You know, you could give us a call if that didn't necessarily answer your question. Tardies are kind of tricky right now under distance learning. In a classroom setting, if the bell rings and they're not in their seat, they're marked tardy. But in distance learning, it's a bit more complex than that. Are first semester grades coming in the mail? Yes, they are. It usually takes about 2 to 3 weeks after the grading period ends. And I know that with first semester, because of the holidays, sometimes it takes a little longer, because you got Christmas and then New Year's. And so those are 2 days where mail service is interrupted. And then just the overall kind of postal service is inundated during the holidays with packages and stuff. So it might take a little longer this semester, and then factor in COVID and all the craziness. So you'll get them. I don't know. I wish I could tell you exactly when, but you can also check Aries, like December 19th or 20th, and the grade that's in there on that day should be the grade that you get on your semester report card. And that is the one that sticks on the transcripts. That is the final grade for the first semester. So for all of our 6th grade parents who are new to intermediate school, you know, we don't have trimesters here, we have semesters. So first semester is one big chunk of grades, and second semester is a big chunk of grades, and they all go on the transcripts, first and second semester. And thank you to MIDEC for saying you're thankful and grateful for all of our hard work. It is our pleasure. It really is our pleasure to serve this community and our students and our families. And it is your kids that kind of motivate us each and every day to continue going, because they are truly wonderful kids. We're always so proud and impressed with their behavior, their respect, just their everything. They're just wonderful kids, and it is our pleasure to serve them. So thank you, but also you're welcome, I should say, but also thank you for sending us wonderful kids each and every day.
We had one question to our Tiger line asking if that was only used for the meeting or will be used at any time. And the Tiger line, as well as the number that was on the screen previously for Mr. Arana, those numbers are available to you all the time. So during the week, if you have questions, if you want to call or text, you can feel free to do so. So you can write those numbers down and use them. Yeah, texting is a great way to get some questions answered pretty quickly.
All right, Zuma Arroyo, Mr. Gonzalez, you have amazing teachers at MacArthur. She's very thankful for all of us. And how do we send cards or gifts to teachers? You can drop them off in the front office if you choose. I'm sure the teachers would appreciate that a lot, but I also know that they will do their job with or without gifts, because they're true professionals. But thank you for the kind words. If you choose to drop a teacher a gift, just drop it off in the front office. We do have activity monitors out in front of the school between 9 and 1. So if you have a small child and you don't feel like parking and getting out, you could drive up and just hand it to one of them as well.
I'm sure teachers would love
Make all checks payable to Ray. No, I'm just
We had a question about what is the last day of the school year in 2021. So the end of the second semester is on June 3rd of 2021.
El último día del año escolar 2020-2021 es el 3 de junio 2021.
And remember, that is kind of a week later than what we originally had anticipated, because we did start school 1 week late this year due to our shift to distance learning. So everything's kind of pushed back 1 week.
Es una semana después de que saliéramos regularmente, porque como empezamos una semana más tarde, por eso es que se movió hasta el 3 de junio.
Lottery question for 8th grade. And I was actually going to say something because I just remembered that as well. So for those in 8th grade, if there's still any other parents on here, how are you going to get the information for the registration for the lottery? So last night, the night before, middle, college, high school had their information sessions for their lottery for 9th grade next year. If you missed it, I would highly recommend you go on their website. The principal of that school did say that he was going to post that information on the website. The lottery will start in January for middle college, and then Sagerstrom High School is going to have their fundamental meeting next week. I believe it is on the 15th in the evening. The information should be posted on their school website as well. I believe they're trying to push out the information through Parent Square, and you may have received either an email or a text message or phone call about it. Godinez, I have not heard. I don't know if our administrators have heard about those fundamental lottery meetings.
Yes, actually, all of the meetings are posted on our homepage.
Okay.
In the top right-hand or upper right-hand corner, there is a fundamental lottery document or link that you could click on, and the document has the dates of all the intermediate and high school meetings that will take place between now and January 11th. All right, do we have any other questions? I'm browsing through, I don't see any.
We just clarified regarding that last day of this semester, December 18th. Just to clarify, there is class and there is lunch being served, just to clarify.
I think it's just high schools that
Just high schools has a non-student day. So if your high schooler tells you that they don't have school on December 18th, they are being honest with you. However, if your intermediate or elementary school child says they don't have school, they're either confused or they're being dishonest. Probably confused because they're looking at the calendar that has all three groups of kids, intermediate, elementary, and high school. But no school for high school on the 18th, school for everybody else.
And I did put the link to our website in the chat as well.
El 18 de diciembre no hay clases, solamente para los de la preparatoria. La high school no hay clases, pero para todos los demás sí hay clases el 18.
All right, that wraps up our MacArthur Cafe for today. We will have another one in January. We will send out the date. We hope you can join us. Again, this presentation will be posted in Parent Square, so you can click on all the links and access all the resources. Thank you for being here. We appreciate your attendance. I think it's a great way for us to connect and share important information. Recruit a friend. That's your task for next month, is bring a friend with you to MacArthur Cafe. We have 53 people watching us. We want 106 next week or next month. That's our goal. And Mr. Bike's going to kindly remind you how to follow us on Facebook or on YouTube right now.
Yes, we always want you to know that you can find the latest information by following us on our social media channels. On Facebook, we are MacArthur FB, And on everything else, we are MacArthur FIS. That is for Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, and YouTube. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel in order to follow us, and then click that bell so you can get reminded when we go live or when we have new content on the channel. So we look forward to you following us, and spread the word and have other friends follow us as well.
All right, everybody. Thank you.
Muchas gracias por
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.